Hello everyone and welcome back. I have had an amazing holiday in Nigeria. It was well rested, it was long, and it was lazy, of course. But we had the most tumultuous flight on our way there because of bad weather. We were diverted to the airport in Lagos, and after another hour on ground, we ended up back in Abuja here, and it was plain sailing from this point on, here on out. Well, it was quite hot in the UK. We were experiencing an extreme heat wave. So coming back to Africa, which is what, set on the equator, that's meant to be searing hot in temperatures. It was quite a nice, refreshing surprise to come back here and find out that it was quite cool. It was the raining season, so at times I wore a cardigan, and this is strange, I must tell you. Something really interesting happened while we were in town on our way. The driver had advised us that we would be stopping at some point because the president of Nigeria would be passing through, and what happens is the armed police officers stop everyone in traffic to allow the motorcade go through. So it was perfect timing, and there you can see this man on a motorcycle moving at about 50 miles an hour, standing straight up, flying the flag, and I thought that was phenomenal. What happens if he gets thrown? So of course we have a ton of cars in the motorcade going through, and we're able to spot the exact vehicle that had the president in it, and it was quite a moment for me because I never thought in my trip there that I would be that close to the president of Nigeria. But that was a nice one for me to document. That presidential motorcade was heading to Aso Rock, where we have the Nigerian Presidential Complex, the Nigerian National Assembly, and Supreme Court all located around it. We can't see that because of these large number of trees, and on top of the mountain is the security personnel overlooking the perimeter. I was able to capture this beautiful mosque situated, beautifying the skyline here in the city. As you know, with Sims Free Play, I absolutely love beautiful architecture, and I think this is quite lovely, but certainly we don't have round roofs to play around with now, do we? But yes, I think this is quite nice, and it beautifies the entire area. So the pure intention of coming to Nigeria was to stay and play and eat and do nothing else. Our villa is set upon a vast, massive patch of land up on a hill, so we have quite a good view of the surrounding areas, and the view from the balcony allows for one to enjoy the sky and the fresh air, even though it was quite humid. But still, I could get a lot of fresh air in from keeping the doors open. The kids, of course, get settled in quite quickly to new environments, this is true. But for me, as soon as they were set down, I decided to go off on an adventure. And it's the kind of thing that I would do. I love going walking, I like wandering into places I've never been before. So it was quite nice to come out and just wander free with no particular purpose in mind. That being said, I did hear about the 300 steps that goes down into an amazing valley, and at the end of that, those stairs, you get to a beautiful part that looks like something out of a fairy tale storybook or something. It's just quite nice. And at that point, you can look around and taking the enormous view of just nothing but green and green and trees. And then you have the lovely waterfall, and it's just coming out of a rock and pouring into a particular spot that continues to flow out to destinations that you can't quite locate really. Unless you really wanted to investigate that. But it's quite nice and it's quite cool down here. It's really, really lovely. Another lovely place that I visited was the local art village. They've got nice sculptures built by the most, humble people you could meet. They're quite talented. This sculpture here of a palm tree is one of my favorites. You have a palm wine tapper climbing up, which is quite common where I come from, and they would harvest the fruit of this tree and create a beautiful wine called palm wine. And it's creamy and it's nice with a couple of ice cubes. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Now, this was my diet while I was there: fried plantains, yams, pepper sauce, pieces of meat, whatever kind you want, yam mash with melon soup and prawns, and my favorite was the incredibly hot, peppery hot African salad, and the roasted corn on open coals. They're quite nice, and you can have them with these pears as well. They go quite nicely together on your palate. These artists are amazing, and I sat with some of them. I watched some of them get started, I watched some get finished, and they allowed me to take pictures of some of their work, and their work certainly do tell a story about the culture around and about that they can see. This one here is quite edgy, and I think it's beautiful, and mostly you can see that they are showing off the idea of hawking. And this is the faceless cattleman, the Fulani, who herd a large number of cows, but you never see their face. This one here is one of my favorites. I would love to set this in my bathroom. I think it's beautiful. And I also took a snapshot of Maimuna, a beautiful princess that would mesmerize you by the swirl in her forehead as long as you stared. Now, most of them, in order to make ends meet, because they could obviously have access to pieces of wood, they would carve these beautiful items as decorative pieces for your home or souvenirs. And I came back with a number of them. I think I came back with a tusk, an elephant tusk. And this one here is like a plaque. It's the map of Africa with a few bits and bobs sort of squidged into it, and I think it's pretty. That was my entire holiday, just wandering around and taking in the view and the culture, also enjoying the lovely cultural food as well. Now, I do realize that there are updates for The Sims Free Play and The Sims Mobile. I've got a ton of messages from you all. I had to hold myself back from getting engaged because I really wanted to holiday. But indeed, I have updated The Sims Free Play and The Sims Mobile, and I've gotten cracking with the waterfront venue for The Sims Mobile, and I've started a luxury event in Sims Free Play. So don't worry about that. You'll be seeing me very shortly upload a couple of videos regarding these two updates, and we'll see what we can put together using these beautiful luxury items that we've received in the game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!